Terrified by the violent screams coming from next door, Tuko springs into action. To keep her daughter safe and distracted, she pays 700 yen to buy the brand new Nin Riders movie on her tablet. With Koto-chan safely glued to the screen, Tuko steps out into the hallway, ready to confront whatever monster is on the other side of that wall. Her heart pounds as she approaches Yuki's apartment. The door isn't even latched. Peeking inside, she spots a woman's belongings scattered all over the entryway floor. Clutching her phone, she promises herself she will call the police the absolute second things turn bloody. Bracing for a crime scene, Tuko bursts through the door, only to find a massive, heavily tattooed man aggressively choking Yuki against the wall. The Yakuza-looking man is screaming at the top of his lungs, "So you had another woman, you asshole?" "And you laid hands on my girl?" the man exclaims, still grasping onto Yuki's collar. The girlfriend begs the boyfriend, claiming it was also her fault for being careless, and that they should just leave it at 200,000. Tuko realizes what's going on and recognizes the girl pointing directly and boldly shouts, "Wait! You're the girl that was all over Yuki-kun last week. Isn't she just trying to hide the fact that she was cheating on you?" The giant is completely thrown off, turning to his girlfriend in confusion. But instead of de-escalating the situation, Yuki decides to actively add fuel to the fire. He pulls open his hoodie to show his fresh wounds, smirking as he tells the giant, "She's very assertive, don't you agree? I met with her yesterday, too." Yuki's rage-baiting completely breaks the giant's sanity. His face twists into pure murderous rage, realizing he just made the situation 10 times worse. Tuko holds up her phone and launches into a flawless, loudmouthed, fake 911 call to scare them off, screaming about a violent assault. Terrified of a prison sentence, the tough guy Yakuza persona completely evaporates. They frantically drop a cash settlement on the floor as an apology for the noise, beg her not to call the cops, and bolt out of the apartment complex in seconds. While Yuki casually gargles and spits out blood at the kitchen sink, Tuko completely loses her temper. She demands to know why he was being so incredibly docile and letting himself get beaten up earlier when he's clearly capable of taking care of himself. Yuki just brushes it off, saying that it would have sped things up, chuckling and saying that the fake police act she put on was amazing. He then casually reveals a dark glimpse into his past. He lent a massive sum of money to an acquaintance a while back, and they completely ran off with his life savings. Tuko is horrified, asking how he can be so easygoing about being used and stabbed in the back. With a dark aura settling over her, she asks the ultimate single mom question, "Don't you absolutely hate being betrayed?" Yuki looks up, a beautiful, completely heartbreaking smile resting on his face as he delivers a line that sends a shiver down Tuko's spine. "Why would I hate it? Whether it be my looks or my money, it just means that they saw some sort of value in me." She asks, tuning into her thoughts, "Is this guy insanely good-willed, or is he just fundamentally self-destructive?" She watches him casually walk over to his fridge, cracking open a fresh can as if he didn't just almost lose his life, and asks what he would have done if he actually lost all his savings. Yuki's response is shockingly casual. He calmly explains that if he ran completely out of cash, he'd just join a women's brothel, become a nightlife host, forge checks for tens of thousands of yen, or deliver suspicious illegal envelopes. To him, committing crimes is just an easy fallback plan, even joking that maybe it's best if the police just lock him away. Hearing this, Tuko can't stay silent. She looks him dead in the eye and asks a simple, piercing question. "If you're struggling, why don't you just say so?" She calls him out for flaunting his self-destructive behavior just to force a laugh to mask his pain, before delivering a line that cuts through his defenses. "There's nothing worse than seeing the face of a kid that's given up on life." Tuko tries to mask her deep empathy by making it practical, telling him that little Koto-chan has grown incredibly fond of him, and that if he actually turns into a criminal, it's going to become a massive problem for her too. She desperately pleads, "You're not actually that kind of person, right?" Yuki stops. He looks back at her from the balcony and drops a bombshell that completely halts her breath. With a deadpan expression, he softly says, "Then save me. I'm just some trash that's given up after all. Sitting on the balcony edge, Yuki confesses that he originally wanted to see just how far he could fall down this dark path. But looking at her, he smiles a genuinely fragile smile and says, "Now I'm getting interested in doing the opposite. I wonder if I can become a decent person. Someone like you, who will casually walk into a dangerous situation and start lecturing me, would be willing to pull me back up over the edge, right?" He steps close, gently but firmly taking her wrists into his freezing hands. As she shudders from the cold, he whispers, "Please save me, Tuko-san. You don't want Koto-chan to be sad, do you?" Looking into his intense eyes, Toko realizes the terrifying truth. This guy is completely crazy. Tuko realizes she should have run away the absolute second she met him. She doesn't know why, but looking at his broken, bruised face, her maternal walls crumble. For the first time in her life for someone other than her daughter, she softly whispers, "Fine, I guess I can." She is cooked chat. The exact second she agrees, Yuki's tragic aura completely vanishes. He wraps his arms around her, picking her up and spinning her around in absolute joy, shouting, "Thanks, Tuko-san!" While Tuko panics, flailing her arms and yelling at him to stop hugging women so freely, Tuko is left thinking, what does this guy even need saving from anyway? A massive, steaming, delicious hot pot is bubbling right in front of them. Little Koto-chan is in absolute heaven, practically flying off her seat with her chopsticks raised, yelling, "Whoa, egg and beef!" Yuki smiles warmly, serving a generous ladle of the premium meal over to Tuko, insisting that she tries it because it's absolutely delicious. Toko takes a bite and her eyes go wide. The meat is meltingly tender. She asks if he used a special recipe, but Yuki just smiles and says it's pure intuition. That's when Tuko looks closely at the ingredients and realizes the hilarious truth. Wait a minute, isn't this the luxury marbled Wagyu beef that I literally just gifted you? Tuko goes into full mom mode, scolding him because he was supposed to keep that expensive meat for himself. She rants that she's a busy person and this whole arrangement feels completely one-sided. But Yuki just dismisses her worries, walking over to the side of his room and stating, "It'd be no good if I was the only one on the receiving end." He places his hand against the drywall and explains that this exact wall is shared directly with Tuko's living room. He tells her, "If you're ever in trouble, just let me know by knocking against this wall. I'll instantly come and help you. I'll do anything from random errands to cooking or anything else." Tuko lets out a deep sigh. She still hates the fact that her neighbor is technically an irresponsible slacker, but she has to admit, it's nice knowing she doesn't have to carry the weight of the world entirely alone anymore. But as she glances over at her daughter, a new worry pops up. The more she gets involved with this guy, the bigger of a chaotic influence he might be on little Koto-chan. But the wholesome family dinner vibe is instantly ruined. Yuki pulls out a literal piece of paper with a cheerful laugh. He says, "So, in exchange for helping you whenever you knock, I was thinking I'd ask for your help on a few things on my end." Tuko looks at the paper and reads a terrifying checklist of his current life problems. About to get kicked out, got a stalker, don't have enough money for AC, and management of girls. The guy doesn't just have red flags, he has a literal inventory of them. Staring at his massive list of toxic baggage, Tuko's face goes completely blank. While Koto-chan looks on innocently, Toko exclaims, "I'm never knocking on that wall.